everybody, and welcome back. It has been a long time. Welcome back to the Big Comfy Couch. This is the P3 podcast.
The only podcast that is implementing pathways, give perspectives so you can reach your purpose.
That's right. And we have missed you guys. We have been gone for such a long time, but guess what? We're back and we're better than ever, hopefully. Yes. But we're going to dig into some more stuff. So without further ado, I am Beej, joined by my co-host.
HB, baby, Holden and Beej, and let's do it.
That's right. And we're going to kick it with y'all for a little bit. So if y'all don't have it already, make sure that you grab your water. Make sure that you got yourself something nice to snack on if that's your type of thing. And then come on and sit down on your big comfy couch or wherever you like to sit so we can talk about some stuff.
What are we talking about today, Beej?
Today, we are starting a new segment that's kind of new, but also not. It's only new in name, really, but it's called the P3 Pit Stop.
P3 Pit Stop, baby.
So if you think about the concept of a pit stop, whenever you're at like a NASCAR race or something like that, you see the cars that are driving around the donut multiple times, but sometimes the car gets so worn down that it has to take a break. And I have to go to a pit stop so that I can get an oil change and get the tires rotated. The driver can get some advice or whatever it is that they need to get back into the race. And so that's kind of what we're doing with this segment right here. It's kind of our check-in with you all and with each other so we can see where we're at and make sure we're on the same page, communicate and all that good stuff. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and check in. So HB, what's up with you? How you been?
Yeah, man, I've been good. I think it's been a minute. You know, P3 been a minute.
Yeah.
Kind of like went to bro Holt. Okay, at one point in time, because we had
listen, life happens. Okay, it does.
Yeah, been on the road. I've been on the road a lot lately. So I'm sorry, Beej.
I was gonna say where you been, bro? Where you been?
So I've been on the road a lot, man. I've been out of town working, doing a lot of different things, long hours.
Yeah,
but gotta make time for what's important. And then
of course,
our schedule's been kind of conflicting a little bit. But we as a team gotta do better anyway. For the people.
We do.
Because people are looking forward to us to drop the content out. So we gotta do better. So that's on me. Yeah.
Do we have like a cool like group name? Like, you know how like Beyonce has like the Beehive and Justin Timberlake has like Tennessee Kid. What is it called? The Jay, you listening back there? What's Justin Timberlake's group called?
Tennessee Kids.
The Tennessee Kids. She's back there. We're in front of a live studio audience today. But the Tennessee Kids, like, what do you think ours would be? We're going to speak into existence now because there are people. Yes, you can. You can chime in.
Typically, your fans come up with the name.
Yeah.
That's why I'm projecting, though. That's why.
If you like it, you bet it.
Okay. Well, I was just projecting because I always think about this kind of stuff. So I wanted to know, like, it doesn't have to be what it is that we're saying. If y'all out there that's listening and watching want to chime in and have something to say, leave it in the comments. What do you think our group name should be? Our posse name? Yeah.
Let us know what y'all think.
Yeah, for sure. But what else been going on with you? Because I know you've been busy with work and stuff.
Work just been really hectic. That's been the main thing.
Did you say mortgage?
Work.
Oh, work. No. Okay.
Not trying to get a mortgage. Not trying to get any mortgage right now.
Yeah, I was like, that's a big step, sir.
Yeah,
when did this happen?
The main thing, just been chilling, man. Been grinding, been doing the usual stuff, trying to get back into the gym. I've been struggling with that. Still fighting that morning struggle to get out of the bed. Hey, but the cool thing though, I've been setting the alarm.
Yeah, the alarm is there. Okay.
The alarm is going off every morning. I am waking up, but I haven't got to bed yet.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So we still working on that part of it. But other than that,
what time do you set your alarm for?
6.
Okay.
6:30.
6:30. Okay.
Yeah, sit there for a minute, debate on it, like, go back to sleep.
Right.
About like an hour, then I get up, like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, see that we're going to circle back to that.
I need an accountability partner. That's what I really need at this point.
You heard it, folks. He needs an accountability partner.
I really do.
To get up early in the morning.
I really do.
I could do that if he wanted
for the gym. But
yeah.
But like we stay like 40 minutes apart.
What you mean we're 40 minutes apart?
We stay 40 minutes apart.
What that got to do with me calling you in the morning to wake you up and say get up?
That's my person that goes to the gym with me.
Okay. 40 minutes apart. Look, are you willing to make like a 20 minute drive?
We could meet in the Vista, but you work out here at that apartment.
I don't work out here in the apartment actually, which circles back to my check-in, but we can talk about that later.
Okay. My bad. Excuse me.
Yeah. See what happens when you jump the gun? Go ahead.
Yeah. Tell them what's been going on, Beej. What's been going on?
Not gonna lie to you. Full transparency, full disclosure, full send. Haven't been good. Have not. I am consistent in a lot of things, but in the process of me being consistent, there's always something that is also being sacrificed. So I think that sacrifice started to catch up to me. And it wasn't even like it was something huge that I feel like was being sacrificed. In fact, sometimes it's things I don't even realize is being sacrificed. Like contrary to Holden setting his alarm for 6 a.m., my alarm is actually set for 4:30. But that's just because, well, at first, whenever I set the alarm, it was to go to the gym because I have a gym membership now. I go to Planet Fitness. It's like baby steps. I'm trying to work my way up to like a big boy gym, for lack of a better choice of words.
Yeah, membership at Planet Fitness.
Mm-hmm. Black card.
I got a black card.
You
didn't have to get a membership,
sir.
Look at there, boom.
And you're talking about me, but
this is my co-host. This is my co-host. He didn't talk to me about none of this stuff. I could have told him to use my black card.
Needless to say, I have one now.
Cool.
And I have been using it and maxing that thing out like it was a credit card, using that thing every day. But in me getting up at 4:30, I felt like I was more productive, which I was. I was able to go to the gym. I was able to use the full perks of the black card, which is, using the hydro massage because that thing is amazing. Yeah. It is immaculate. But I would go to the gym, I'd work out, and then I would come home. I would make breakfast for both me and Jay. She wouldn't get up yet for obvious reasons. It's still dark 30. Like, I don't know why, but I appreciate, and I have an appreciation now for getting up while it's still dark outside. And then I would get ready for work and then be on about my day. But then there would be some things that's sacrificed. And the sacrifice, I feel like, doesn't come until like later in the day because if you don't know, Jackie and I are complete opposites when it comes to how we operate in our day. I'm a morning person. She's not. She is a night owl. I am not. I'm a night owl. So she gets all of her energy at night, like around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, I'm ready to go to bed. Like I'm ready to just like lay down, call it a night. But the sacrifice in that is that I don't get as much quality time with her as I would like to have. Meanwhile, I feel like a hypocrite saying, one of my big love languages is quality time. So spending that quality time with Jay and her spending it with me, it's like, I want this, but I feel like I'm not putting myself in a position to be able to receive that. And so I feel like I'm doing a disservice to myself as well as our relationship. And so it's like, what are you doing? Why are you really doing this? And it's like, I continue to do it, but also it kind of solidified the importance of me needing to go to therapy for myself, mental health therapy, not necessarily physical therapy as well. Because we had a conversation about that earlier. I thought you were talking about regular therapy, but I have been. That's what it resulted in. I just had this weird breakdown one day. Yeah, like it wasn't something that I was anticipating happening, and it wasn't something that I could pinpoint as to why I was feeling this way. But I was getting in the car. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it wasn't even like raining or anything. It was just a quiet 5 o'clock in the morning. And I just started crying. Yeah. Like I just had an emotional breakdown. No one else is around. And I'm just like, where did this come from? Like, why did this happen? It was just like, I couldn't take it. And so that was kind of like the final nail in the coffin where it's like, yeah, I definitely need to get some therapy. And so needless to say, I have a consultation coming up where I'm actually going to talk to a therapist and try to figure out what all's going on. Because I have this persona outwardly that everything is fine. Yeah. And that as long as you're good, I'm good. But clearly I'm human.
Keep a lot built up.
Yeah, I do. I hold a lot back and I know I shouldn't. I realize that I should not. But
it's easier said than done.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it really is. And I feel like there's like a lot of masculine stereotype behind that. Mm-hmm. That like I say I'm definitely not for it, and that's definitely not how I show myself or how I present myself. But it's like subconsciously, yeah, it is. Yeah, like that's definitely how I present myself. That's definitely how I come across. But that's like the behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees, whether it's on camera or like in person. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I feel like even Jackie doesn't see that sometimes. Yeah. Where it's like, that's how I act and that's how I feel. This was a really deep intro, by the way. I was not expecting to go this deep. How supposed to be. Like 10 minutes into this episode. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's how I need to be. You gotta get off your chest.
I know.
Because then like, that's what I mean. It's good to get it off your chest because you hold that stuff in over and over and over. And like you said, you just start breaking down. You don't even know a reason why, but
exactly. Like I had no idea why.
Guys, as a whole, we hold a lot of stuff in. Yeah. And definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like even, I think the biggest thing in these last couple of weeks for me has just been trying to get adjusted, wanting to do more, but you feel like there's not enough hours in the day. Yeah. Like it's always something that you could be doing. But like it kind of thin line, like from where are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to be at? Right. So it's kind of like a thin line of balance. And on the balance beam, like how often, like just thinking, if you really could be honest, how in life, when it comes to life, how much of your life do you think where the balance beam is like this, even?
Right.
Totally even. More times than not, it's like you either giving too much or you're not giving enough at all. Right. So it's never like, and I think it's hard to feel comfortable at times because you feel like you should be here balanced, but
right. It's this expectation of where we're supposed to be in our lives right now.
It's never like that.
Right. Like, especially with our emotional state, it's not supposed to be like that.
It's rarely like that where you 100% balanced. Everything's going 100% good, 100% all the time.
Right. And speaking back on like your sacrifice point, you were talking about like things that we need to sacrifice, especially as men. It's like the other question that you kind of have to ask in that moment is like, is the sacrifice worth it?
100%.
Like, what kind of sacrifice are you making? Is it one that you need to make? Because just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we feel like, oh, well, we sacrificed this because we really care about the person. But it's like, was that necessary?
Yeah.
Did you really have to sacrifice that because you said you love the person? Does it have to be you that sacrifices?
Yeah.
I feel like as men, we take a lot of personal responsibility on ourselves and we don't talk about ways to actually compromise the sacrifice. Like if it's sacrificial, in a sense, it's supposed to be able to affect both people in the circumstance. But the way that it comes across for men is when we sacrifice, it's doing more hurt to us than it is helping us along with the person we're sacrificing for.
Yeah.
Like going without, yes, that's one thing. But to sacrifice and have it be somewhat beneficial or somewhat understanding for both people that are affected by this or for those that are impacted by it, like it's not usually the case.
Yeah.
And so, you have to ask yourself the question, is the sacrifice worth it?
Yeah. So, and then I guess it has to be like, asking that question, is it worth it? Is it goal oriented? Did you think about that? Or you think it's something different?
Well, I think it depends on the context in which we're using it. You're talking about sacrificing, right?
My sacrifice, I'm talking about more like maybe it might be quality time or from doing things like maybe like even if you're like going out on a weekend or anything, it's like a lot of that time that's taken. Like a lot of that time's taken. Doing small things like maybe going home for a weekend or something with the family or something like that.
Right.
That's been shot the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But and you feel like it's like, but it's like at the same time, I know I'm doing the right, I'm making the right steps to where I really want to be, where I don't have to make all those sacrifices, where I can balance it out. But is the stress worth it? Is it worth the pressure that you have to go through? Is it worth the grind that you got to go through to get to where you want to go? I would say yes, because I think anything that you go through in life, you got to have that. Like nothing was ever built great. And was like anything that was extravagant or extraordinary, anything that was like top cream of the crop, it was a struggle to get there at some point or some fashion, right? So, like you saying, is it worth it? Like yes, I would say it's worth it because you got to go through that. You get to where you want to go when you don't know. Because like how we talking about in a episode a couple of weeks back, about reflection. Yeah, when you reflect back on the scenes and stuff, we was talking about how I was talking about my experience when I'm baseball, all that transition and everything. Yeah. Like I look back on it, I'm like, I'm glad I went through everything I went through, even though it was a struggle at the time. I look back on it, I'm like, all that put me in this position today to be in a better spot than I was. Right. 100%. So I guess that's why I see it's worth it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. But then I also think about the context in which the sacrifice is happening, because the main points that I was talking about sacrifice was from my personal relationship with my wife. Okay. So like the person that I'm supposed to be sharing my life with. But then there's other areas in which sacrifice happens. Like if you were to sacrifice on your job, or if you were to sacrifice in your friend group, or even the small and subtle dynamics between sacrifices of a boyfriend or girlfriend, or even a fiance versus a person that is your wife, because the way in which those types of relationships are viewed are completely different. Where a sacrifice for a wife is essentially like, it's the way that it's supposed to be seen anyway. It's supposed to be like a sacrifice for your wife is a sacrifice for yourself, because you and your wife, or you and your spouse, are supposed to be one and the same, versus a sacrifice for a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like there's nothing that physically joins you all aside from your desire to be committed to each other. Yeah. Because like at any point, not to say that this is something that would happen, but you could just walk away and there'd be like no repercussions for it. Like there'd be no detrimental harm aside from like the emotional stress or the emotional feeling that you get without the person being there, but eventually that will fade away too.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that's more integrated into like a marital relationship that makes a sacrifice feel a little bit more personal and ingrained because of the fact that there's more of you involved in the sacrifice than it would be if you were outside of that relationship or even with like a group of friends. Like I sacrificed $15 for this meal that I had with friends. Okay, what harm did that do outside of you? Excuse me, my goodness, outside of you losing $15 for a friend. Yeah. But if you were to say I sacrificed $15 for a meal with my wife, that doesn't compute. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's like you didn't lose anything because at the end of the day, like it's that $15 is her $15 as well. So you didn't lose anything. Yeah. That's probably like a poor comparison, but that was like the first one that came to mind.
I understand.
But it's just like the context in which the sacrifice is being expressed or being felt. I feel like there's a bit of a dynamic difference in terms of understanding.
Yeah, I agree with that. But tell me this from just simply pit stopping and everything. Talk about the transitioning of how that's been balancing out with, is that stress coming from work and like work life compared and bleeding over into the outside life, or how does that work?
So with all that was happening in the transition and stuff like that, I feel like it has, in a sense, taken a toll on my work life. Not in a sense that I'm incompetent and not able to do my job, but I see myself also in a season of transition where I'm not sure. It's not that I'm not sure, but it's just like I question what is it I'm doing with my life. Yeah, it's like I feel like I have my hand in so many things that I enjoy doing.
Spread thin.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm kind of spread thin, but at the same time, I don't want to give any of that stuff up. Like full transparency, it's like I love all the stuff that I'm doing outside of work, but like work is supposed to be the means that provides for me to be able to do all this stuff that I want to do outside of work. Yeah. So when I don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be in my workplace, that kind of takes down my performance. Supervisors see that, they start to question things, and then you start to question yourself because they're questioning you. And it's like, well, why am I here right now? Yeah. Like I'm back to like that initial purpose statement. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing what is it I'm doing here when I could be doing something somewhere else or something?
Well, and I think, so I can relate to that into a work, how we got this thing at work. We talk about our foundations and things, like the 8 great working habits. We have that. One of the biggest things up in our life, I think that everybody needs to take control of, needs more of, and need to emphasize that on a day-to-day basis is knowing your why. It's like number 7 thing of the great 8 working habits. So that the next one is taking control. Yeah. A lot of people are reactive instead of proactive. So being more proactive with a day-to-day task and everything, whether it's from being at work or spending more time with your wife or your significant other. Right. We gotta be more proactive and taking more control, not stop letting stuff happen to you, but actually going out and being that person that takes control of the situation rather than being reactive and letting things happen to you. Like, why is it happening to me like that? Right. Type deal. But at the same time, a person to take control, you gotta be humble enough to know when you're wrong and know how to course the action of how to get back to the right spot.
Right, course correct.
Yeah, exactly. So
no, I got you. So with that being said, then, because we talked a lot about like the challenges that we're facing with sacrifice and things like that. Obviously, we don't want to stay where we are. So what do you think are some things that we can do to kind of help us and help those that are watching who may be going through something similar get out of where it is that they feel like they're stuck?
Yeah. I think, let me see, some things.
Like things that you can do personally because you can't speak to anybody else's story.
Me personally. Okay, so I would just say from my job perspective is probably why I say, like you said, we feeling stuck sometimes. Well, my job is very team-oriented based. So my success is based off of if a person cares more about what I do than what they do. Yeah. So being selfless. Because I can't grow if they don't want to grow. They can't grow if I don't want to grow. Right. So we have to grow together either way. So I think it's more about motivating myself, but also being nobody like, so how I think, and this goes to everything. I think this goes in life too. One thing my job has taught me a lot of different things. He's taught me about how people don't care until they know how much you care about them. Right. They don't care about what you want to do, what you want to be, anything like that until they know how much you care about them. Right. So a person that's super good at being an influencer or being like a public figure are people that can inspire other people for longer. So I think the biggest thing for me is trying to inspire others to do what I need them to do for them. Yeah. Not for me, but of course, for them. Right. So motivating myself for others to inspire others and stuff. I think that's one big thing that you can do if you can implement that into your life. That builds trust in your relationship because now people believe in you because you believe in them. Mm-hmm. It also helps you be able to feel like you're on your purpose, like you said. But I would say just stay consistent. Yeah, that's the main thing. A person, I think, staying consistent in the things that you love, the people that believes in you, people that's consistent in your life. Mm-hmm. Those people, that's the stuff you need to be putting your energy in. And that as you can do, and you continue to do the right actions, the results will come that you want to do. Right. So when it gets tough and stuff, can you still do the right actions to get where you want to be at? Of course. Because you can continue to do the right actions, everything is going to fall in place eventually. Like we call that the law of averages, which is a repetition of an action in order to receive a desired result. Mm-hmm. So if you do it, that's like anything, like you in the film industry or you playing sports, you hit the ball off a tee over. Eventually, you're gonna get good enough where you can do it consistently like that, right? Right. Over time, if you don't know how to edit shows and stuff from your first ever film that you ever made, the film that you do now is way better, right? Yeah, because you had the repetition of the same thing. So doing those same repetitions, whether it's with your significant other in the workforce, anything like doing those same actions over and over, the right actions, the results will come. Yeah, that you desire. And now you're in a better situation. So I think that's the main thing. I would tell people, like, just stay consistent doing the right actions and everything else fall in place with it. I know it's hard to just, you got to believe it too. You got to believe it yourself. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe it, it's not going to be able to do it. Right. Like, because if you got to pull from other people to see your vision, mm-hmm. you already lost the battle. But if you believe in what you do, you believe in everything that you're doing 110%, everything else will fall in place. I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anything you want to add?
Well, from my perspective, and this is something that Jay has been trying to drill into my head for like the past, 2 years, Jay? She probably in her AirPods. Go to therapy. like get a therapist. Yeah. Seriously. Ain't no wrong with that. Yeah. There's such a negative stigma on anyone going to therapy because they feel like, one, people are going to be in your business. And it's like, no, they're literally paid to keep your secrets. Like if they do, they go to jail. Like that's the long and short of it. Mm-hmm. But also hearing somebody that is not in your circle or in your world whatsoever, being able to relay your perspective to them of what is that happens. And then they tell you what is it they got from what is it you said. It's so enlightening from what I've been told because I haven't gone to therapy yet. But, to my understanding, that's the case. But they relay back to you their perspective of what it is that they heard. And they help you get a better understanding of what it is that you could possibly be feeling or what it is that you could possibly be experiencing in your world. And you take that and you either apply it or you don't. It's up to you. But ultimately, if you want to see the change, then you're going to have to be the change first. Yeah. And it starts with going to therapy. And so that's what I encourage.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard it.
So with that being said, I hope that what we said to each other was received well by you all. Sound off in the comments.
And just to let y'all know too about this right here, this like a lot of 90% of what we do is just natural conversation.
It is.
Like this stuff that we haven't talked about at all.
We didn't
camera or anything.
We didn't pre-plan this.
Yeah. So
there was nothing.
That was all genuine talk there. And we haven't seen each other in
a month or 2
weeks. Yeah, maybe a month. So this is we just basically just catching up.
It was literally a catch up and you guys just happened to be along for the ride. Yeah. But we thank you all for tuning into this episode. Don't forget to sound off in the comments what you think the group name should be for the P3 podcast. Yeah. Those and those who support it. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are
at the P3 podcast.
Is it underscore or no underscore?
Underscore.
It's an underscore. It's P3 podcast underscore.
Yeah, underscore.
And IG. That's right, on IG.
Where can they find you specifically though?
Oh, you can find me specifically on Instagram at BEEJ_LY because Beej loves you. And also shameless plug, if you want to follow me on YouTube, On my personal YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com/BeejlyClipsTV. That is BeejlyClips TV. Where can I find you at, HB?
Man, y'all can find me on IG, man, at Baisden H1. That's BAISDE and the letter H and the number 1. I don't have a specific YouTube page, but you can follow us on the P3.
We're going to get him one. By the end, listen, not even by the end, at some point during this journey, this man is going to be doing like public speaking engagements. You heard it here first. He's going to be doing some public speaking engagements, and he's going to need a place to be able to store his clips and show off what it is that he talks about and where he's been. And he's going to have a YouTube channel for it. So we're speaking this now into his life on this good Resurrection Sunday.
I definitely can see that. But you can find us on YouTube at P3 Podcast. So make sure you check us out on YouTube. Make sure you check us out on all streaming platforms, Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, all that. And if you want to send us an email because you would like to collaborate with us and you would like to be able to work with us and help us transcend and send our messages out to the masses, you can send us an email at the P3podcast@gmail.com. Actually, no, P3 Podcast 1?
P3 Podcast 1.
P3 Podcast 1 at gmail.com. That is P3 Podcast at Gmail. P3 Podcast 1. You could tell it's been a while since we did this. P3 Podcast 1 at gmail.com. Thank you all so much. Make sure that you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe because this is the P3 Podcast.
And the podcast has implement pathways, gain perspectives so you can reach your purpose.
Peace out.
Peace.
Later.
Hey.